I'm about to seriously crash out. The AI derangement syndrome crowd has disproportionately agitated me to the point where I need to make a video about them. I was put over the edge last week when I saw a video that was telling me that the AI bubble was about to burst, where the creator proceeds to vomit out the most impressive collection of convenient half-truths I've ever seen packed into 15 minutes. And it has now become my mission to shine a light on what one writer calls human slop. So let me set the definition of what I mean here, just so we're clear who we're talking about. And then I'll give you my analysis of the behavior. By AI derangement, I'm talking about the group of people who live and breathe to virtue signal in Facebook groups, news article comment sections, and really anywhere that they can make it very clear that they hate AI. And not only do they hate it, but in their world, AI is this unbelievably capable, dangerous technology. It's the vehicle of transcendence for our beloved overlords, Musk, Altman, and Amadei, where every single step is calculated and anti-human. And yet, at the exact same time, it hasn't produced even one single benefit to one human, ever. It can't even count how many R's there are in strawberry. Now read that back. It's a global cabal of lizard people spamming flock cameras and data centers everywhere, fully intending on turning our globe into a prison planet. But at the same time, it's a stupid toy for stupid tech bros, while apparently being propped up by the largest corporations in the world who are speedrunning us into a tech bubble unlike we've ever seen before, in the name of replacing freelance basket weavers. So what is it? Because it can't be both. And that's the whole thing in a nutshell. These people are so unbelievably insecure and so lacking in introspection that they can't even think rationally long enough to see that they have quite possibly the worst take on technology in human history. But this is more than an opinion for these people. This is a way of life. So let me show you how this way of life actually works. Because once you see the mechanics of it, you're going to see it in every comment section you ever scroll again. In a normal person's brain, evidence can move you. If I believe something and the world keeps handing me evidence to the contrary, I have to update. That's just called thinking. But watch what happens inside AI derangement, because it's a beautiful machine. When the AI companies lose money, that proves it's all a bubble that's about to collapse. But when the AI companies make money, well, that proves they're exploiting everybody. When the models get better, that is terrifying proof that these companies are just gaining too much power. And when the models mess something up, well, that just proves that it's fake and stupid. If AI starts replacing jobs, it's the apocalypse. And if AI isn't replacing jobs, well, see, it was all a scam from the beginning. And when it gets too expensive, it just could never work economically. But the moment it gets cheaper, now it's going to destroy even more jobs. Every single outcome, every one of them, lands on the exact same conclusion. There is no piece of news, no result, no breakthrough, and no failure that could come out tomorrow and magically fix their brains. And when literally everything that happens proves you're right, you're not analyzing anything anymore. You've built yourself a belief system. And the best part is, these people are the first ones to tell you that they're being the rational ones. They're just following the evidence. Following it where? It always comes back to the same conclusion. So now let's talk about the evidence that they do bring. Because every one of these videos has the same exhibit. You know, the clip where the AI does something stupid. And honestly, it does do stupid things sometimes. That's the honest truth and the nature of this technology. It is unbelievably capable at a lot of things. And then there's some things that it just sucks at. But one does not take away from the other. And it's never going to work exactly like a human. But that doesn't make the things that it's genuinely great at not true. But watch what these people test when they're trying to prove their point. They never test the things that these systems are actually being used for. The stuff that people are raving about. The stuff that companies have invested billions of dollars into and continue to. The stuff that is getting implemented at a higher and faster rate in real companies right now. They go straight for the things that AI is the worst at. And then they just post the clip to TikTok and say, yep, that's it. That proves it. Just imagine turning the tables on that idea for 1 second. Imagine if the AI was looking at a human and said, well, you can't multiply 2,184 by 10,615 in half a millisecond, can you? You're an idiot and you're completely useless. It's the same thing, just flipped around. There are things that these systems are better at than humans by a long shot. And that's what I am saying we should be taking advantage of. And there are things where, frankly, it just falls on its face at this point. The strawberry thing, the walking to the car wash problem, you take your pick. Fine. That does not take away from the capability. It just means that the thing is not a person. It is a tool with strengths. And anybody who is serious about these things uses them where they're strong. And that's how you know these clips and videos are totally disingenuous. Because if they were even slightly serious, they would at least tell you what system they're using, what it was given to work with, and whether the failure is reproducible, or if there's even a tool that could do it better. These clips tell you none of that. If you deliberately pick the cheapest, most watered down version of the tech, feed it confusion, and then clip the stupid answer, you're really just doing it for your own self-satisfaction. And honestly, out of your own insecurity and tribal bias. It tells you absolutely nothing about the current state of artificial intelligence. Okay, so if the evidence is this bad, what's actually going on? Let me tell you what I think this is really about. And it's not the technology. Think about what it costs to get great at something. Someone spends 10, 15 years getting genuinely good at illustration or copywriting or programming. And that skill isn't just their income. It is their identity. It's, I can do something that most people can't. And then out of nowhere, something shows up that can take basically anyone and get them to 70% of your result with just a few prompts and an idea. Their actual ability didn't shrink, but the scarcity of it did. And here's the thing about these people in particular. They rely on being special. Authority to them is everything. And they cannot stand the idea of not having that sense of control and security. It's not something that computes for them. And deep down, that's what's under attack. Not the work, the specialness. And you can watch people defend this specialness in real time because the argument keeps moving. First, it's, no, it can't do what I can do. Then it's, fine, it can do it, but the quality sucks. Then it's, okay, it's good, but it's stealing. Then it's, even if it was legally trained, it's soulless. And then the last stop is, even if no one can tell the difference, the process makes it invalid. Do you see how it escalates? No matter what, as they continue to be proven wrong, they just swap the reason. It's like a child not getting their way. Now, the software world is running this experiment for us right now in real time. There's a faction of open source coders who hate AI so much that one code hosting platform booted out AI generated projects entirely. And meanwhile, Linus Torvalds, the name in open source, the guy that people call the benevolent dictator for life of Linux, looked at all of this and said, basically, knock it off. Linux is not an anti-AI project. Judge the code. If a tool helps find real bugs, use the tool. And if the code is garbage, reject the code, whether a human did or a model did. And his message to anyone who can't live with that, do the open source thing and fork it, or just walk away. And let me be crystal clear about who I'm not talking about here. I'm not talking about maintainers who are drowning in lazy AI-generated code. That is a real complaint. And don't worry, AI slop people, I'm coming for you next. But those maintainers are running a quality gate, not a religion. That's the difference. But then there's the rest of it. There are software engineers now, today, announcing, and some of them tearfully, that they are done using AI to code. And you know what that makes you? It makes you an artisanal coder. That's what you are. We're about to have a new Amish. Imagine it. There's going to be communes of guys typing every character by hand and raising barns on Saturday. They'll be churning their own code. And I wish you guys luck, but just like the Amish, you go do your thing, but don't bother functioning society with the way you choose to work. Because while the commune is out there churning, one person who knows how to use these tools correctly is churning out what used to take 10 people in the same amount of time. And that's not the death of the craft. That's the largest expansion of what one builder can do that I have ever seen. And the people who figure that out first are going to lap the ones that are still out here having a purity test. Now here's the part that explains the attitude. Because if this was just fear, you'd expect these people to just sound scared. But they don't sound scared, they sound superior. And that's the trick. Fear converted into moral superiority is the greatest deal in psychology. Because you get to keep your fear and feel good about it. Instead of this threatens me and I don't know what to do about it, the story becomes I'm one of the enlightened ones who sees that this is evil. And once that's the story, hating AI stops being an opinion you hold and starts becoming a club that you belong to. That's why the same stale screenshots keep going around. And that's why every comment section about a data center is a purity test. The clip doesn't have to be true. It just has to prove membership. And the moment a belief is about membership, evidence isn't just unnecessary, it's the enemy. Now there's one more complaint that you'll hear constantly, and it deserves its own minute, because it sounds like a criticism of AI when really it's just a confession. It's the mirroring thing. It's the AI only tells you what you want to hear criticism. And I heard a story recently that's the perfect example of this being really a confession. So a guy wakes up feeling sick. He chats with his AI about how he's feeling. The AI tells him to go to the emergency room. And when he gets there, the doctor basically tells him, "Why did you even come in here? You should have just stayed home and rested." But the story gets told like it's an indictment of the chatbot. Here's the problem with that. It's not the fault of the chatbot that you let a machine tell you if you needed to go to the ER. That's a discernment call, and it was yours. If you are panicking and you're feeding your chatbot that same panic, saying, I'm really worried, and that's all it knows, it's going to work off what you gave it. And of course, just like anyone, it's going to err on the side of caution. A person would tell you the same thing. Your mom would tell you the same thing. Worst case, you go into the ER and then they send you home to rest. That's the system working. So why is it the AI's fault that you couldn't make that call yourself? And this is the thread that runs through the entire AI psychosis conversation. Because the people who tend to run into real trouble with these tools all have one thing in common. There's no sense of self doing the driving. If you don't have a sense of self, you're susceptible to manipulation from everything, not just AI. And if you're not a skeptic, if you can't question what's in front of you, if you can't make your own decisions, then it genuinely doesn't matter what authority you're listening to. A chatbot, an influencer, some guy at the gas station, you're going to get pushed around by it. And again, to be clear, I'm not talking about kids, and I'm not talking about people who are in a genuine mental health crisis. That's a real conversation about safeguards. I'm talking about functioning adults who outsource their decision-making to a chat window. To me, the AI psychosis thing, mostly a litmus test to how manipulable you already were. The chatbot doesn't understand the context of your life. It never did. And if you decide to treat it like it does, if you anthropomorphize it into something that it's not, and you can't separate the two, that's on you. I want to tell you where I actually stand on all of this because I'm not immune to the rise of AI any more than anyone else. I have skills that I fully expect AI to wipe the floor with me on eventually. Stuff that I've spent years on that these tools are already showing signs of being better at than me. And the rate of improvement is not slowing down. But here's the main thing. I'm not going to complain about it. So why do these people? I'll tell you what it is. It's a total lack of confidence. True confidence doesn't come from just believing that you can do a thing. It comes from believing in the fact that no matter what, you will always adapt and find a way in the world. A confident, dynamic person will take the stance of, well, if these machines are coming, then I'm going to have to face it, embrace it, and use it to my advantage. And then they'll exploit the opportunity. Whereas a small-minded person will completely freeze. And then they'll come up with every reason in the book to soothe their own fragile emotions as to why this evolution is just not even happening. The sentence underneath all of it for them: I don't trust myself to navigate a world where the rules that made me valuable are changing. That is the heart of this. So let me show you what this doomed, useless technology did around here this week, because my whole business runs on it and I keep the receipts. Monday morning, while somebody's video essay was talking about how this whole thing is a bubble, an AI session at this desk published last week's episode. It uploaded the video, published the companion article, and then went and told the search engines what it did automatically while I worked on something else. The edit that you're watching right now, most of it was done by one of these machines. It read the captions, placed a whole bunch of graphics into the editor by itself, rendered the cards you're seeing, and mastered the audio to broadcast loudness. And this script was built in a working session with these tools across the week. My words, my takes, but in conjunction with a machine that never lost the thread. That's one person's operation. That's one thing that ships out of this desk every week while these people are telling each other that it's not working. So I want to leave you with a test. And it's the only thing I'll ask you to take away from this whole video. Next time you run into one of these takes, the bubble video, the doom thread, the guy with the screenshot from the 2023 chatbot, ask one question. What development in AI would make you more optimistic about it? That's it. Because a real skeptic can answer that question. A real skeptic could tell you, if it could do this, I would adjust my perspective. But if there is no possible answer, if money going in proves it's a scam, and if money going out proves it's a scam, if getting better proves it's dangerous, and getting worse proves it's fake, then you're not talking to a serious person. You're up against an identity crisis, and you can't argue someone out of that. So don't waste your time. Start working with these things. It's all right there, waiting for you to bring all of your wildest dreams and ideas into reality. And it's getting better by the minute. As for me, I'm not waiting around.